What's the IWW Grand Rapids chapter doing today outside of Jimmy John's?
Today is the beginning of a week of action that's been called for by the Minneapolis newly formed Jimmy John's Workers Union, and it's in response to them. The Mike and Rob Mulligan, the owner of Micklet franchises of Jimmy John's in Minneapolis, has refused to meet with the workers there. So they've asked for the affiliates, IWW affiliates around the country, to assist them and begin a week of action starting today. So there are actions planned in 32 of 39 states where there are Jimmy John's, and Grand Rapids is one of them. So not only are we going to here in solidarity for the Minneapolis workers, but also here to let other Jimmy John's workers know in Grand Rapids and West Michigan that there is a union for them, and that other workers are coming together for things like better pay and benefits and sick days and scheduled breaks, stuff like that.
It seems like because of the loss of so many manufacturing jobs that service workers are certainly one that a lot of them aren't organized. And is this going to be somewhat of an emphasis on the part of the IWW to build solidarity with folks in the service worker industry? Sure,
absolutely. The service industry, manufacturing has been wiped out by things like NAFTA and CAFTA, so these manufacturing jobs are gone. More and more of the industry now in America is service industry. So that's what more people find themselves being forced to turn to, because there's no more manufacturing. So the service industry has the lowest rates of unionization, like 1.8%, and also the lowest wages of any other industry in the United States. So it is absolutely important that these workers realize that there is a fight there, and that we shouldn't just settle for minimum wage from these million-dollar corporations or billion-dollar corporations in the case of Starbucks. But absolutely, it's a turning point in the labor movement when low-wage workers are actually standing up for their rights and demanding justice at the workplace, and saying, yeah, I'm worth more than these piddly wages that you're giving to work at these places like Starbucks and Jimmy John's and McDonald's.
I mean, it's Labor Day as well, and a lot of the commercial media coverage has been sort of focused around asking questions like, are unions relevant anymore, or even raising the question of whether or not Michigan should be a right-to-work state. You guys sent out a press release. No news media, at least none of the commercial media, sort of showed up today. I mean, what does this sort of say about how this affects public perception or public opinion about the effectiveness or the relevancy of organizing workers?
Well, yeah, I think it's, at least in the case of the Grand Rapids Press, it's important for them to paint this picture that they're trying to portray, that right-to-work laws and anti-union, anti-worker laws will actually help the economy in Michigan. But when in fact real labor issues they're mute on, as far as our action here today with Jimmy John's workers or other workers in Michigan, nurses that have been on the longest strike, and they don't deal with those labor issues. Rather, they want to paint a picture, which they're trying to portray, that we need things like right to work and these other things. But the fact of the matter is that people that are actually working and doing these jobs are organizing and are coming together in a collective way and saying we need more than what we're being given, because we are the force that are making these products and making this economy move. So we're not expendable, and we're not going anywhere, and we're going to continue to fight. So things like these politicians with the right to work, all that is moot. Recently a Starbucks in Nebraska, a right to work state, became organized with the IWW. So as long as there's poverty, wages, and issues that workers can organize around, and workers are going to continue to organize, and the IWW is going to be there to support them.
What's the IWW going to do after today in terms of continuing to develop solidarity with Jimmy John's workers? And then another part of that is, what would you say to people who are not, part of a union, but maybe want to either get more information or also support, people who work at places like Jimmy John's?
Right. Well, so far they've got the JimmyJohnsWorkers.org is the site specifically for Jimmy John's workers. Locally, we're going to continue to talk to these workers and continue to expound on some of the issues that the Minneapolis workers have raised, like sexual harassment and some of these other issues. And we're going to try to hopefully bring these Jimmy John's workers locally here into the fold. Anyone else can be supported. We've got a local blog, GRIWW. It's the GRSPUX Union.blogspot.com. There's contact information there if you want to assist on the Jimmy John's Workers Campaign or Starbucks Workers, or if you want to know about your rights at your own workplace. A lot of that information is on our local blog, and we have organizers and delegates that are willing to assist and answer any questions that people might have about their own workplace issues or problems that they have at their job.
Great.